Good morning, everyone. I call this meeting to order. If we could, please, let's stand and pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, Jake, if you could, please. You roll call.
Keisha Johnner.
Here.
Jim Mueller.
Here.
Steve McCombs. Here.
Entertain a motion for today's agenda.
Move to approve today's agenda.
Work.
Sorry I missed that, my bad. I'm sorry I missed that.
Was to approve the agenda, Steve, support Jim.
Okay, thank you.
No.
McCombs.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
John.
On communications. Board, there's a few communications I would like to update the public on. Reminder, those offices that are non-emergency for Christmas Eve, most of those will be closing at noon. So if the public, they have any questions, please call ahead. Also Christmas Day, again, non-emergency offices will be closed. And then I'd like to remind the public, we will have our organizational meeting on January 2nd of 2026. Any other communications? Seeing none, move on. Under public comments, this is the portion of the agenda which we can hear from the public on items that are not on the agenda below. These possibly could become future agenda items. Is there any public comments? Anything on? Seeing none. Onto the consent agenda. Entertain a motion for today's consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Mueller.
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
Onto business. Item number one, board before you is resolution 2025-95. This is agreement pursuant to Iowa Code Chapter 28E between Marion County, Iowa and the city of Pella regarding allocation of local option sales tax and service tax revenues. Board, if you recall, Mr. Nardini had spoke to the board regarding local option sales tax this past fall. And before us is now the agreement. The agreement does not change. It is the 8% until the term of the agreement is from January 1, 2026 to December 31st of 2028. The 8% is what has been allocated for several years. Don't know if the board has any questions. Mr. Nardini is with us this morning, and thank you, Mike, for being here.
Have no issues with it. It's just carrying forward with what's been agreed to in the past.
Steve, you have any?
No, I'm fine with them.
Good, all right. Entertain a motion for resolution 2025-95.
Move to approve resolution 2025-95.
Second.
Johnner.
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Thank you, Mike, appreciate it. On to item number two, board, this is an agenda item, it's our Marion County Salary Survey Financial Options. If you recall, our special meeting last week, Beth spoke to the board and gave the options of a market average or 60th percentile. Board, we need to give direction to the Austin Peters Group on which way we would like to proceed, so then they can work on placing on their shows. And they are helping us with that process. The market average, obviously, just places it on the average, but the 60th percentile would keep us a little ahead and allow us to stay competitive, and that's what Beth had suggested to us. The 60th percentile was going to roughly cost the county $470,000 to be able to do that. Now, be mindful, board. The $470,000 is just for the employees. That does not include. We have a compensation board that will be for the electeds and the deputies. So that amount you will have incur more costs when it comes to the electeds and their deputies. Okay. Do you have any thoughts? Questions?
I tend to support the 60th percentile because I like to think that longevity and consistency with within our employment base is critical, so we can not always in the training mode. And then a revolving door process with all of our employees, so I think the benefits of offering something a little bit better than market far exceeds what the cost would be of always turning people over. So I'm in support of the 60th percentile. And just because we say this at the very beginning doesn't mean that in day one we're going to get there. It's a process. So I absolutely support the 60th percentile. Suggest that we get to that as soon as physically possible.
Yeah, I with dealing with Beth, I also am supportive of the 60th percentile. I do think that now is the time that we explain a little bit more about that process. When the 60th percentile, if that's the direction the board gives, then what happens is Beth will go back. There will be communication to those department heads and electeds, and that will happen yet this month. And the step process. So Beth will be sending out something. The email may end up coming from HR department, but it has been done by Beth. And your department will again see where your people are placed and steps. Okay, because that was one of the things when we hired them, we needed them to help us place the employees on a step process. We wanted it to be fair and balanced. And then after that, employees, I'm sure you're probably wondering, when will you hear? That will happen in January. Okay, I cannot give you an exact time, but that is the process in which we're looking at. Because if you that understand, when we do the budget process, this will then be placed in the budget. So that's ultimately why we're doing some of this. This helps relieve us to make sure that we're being equitable as possible as a board, and that we have done our research. We have gone out and competitively looked at this. And if the board is looking at a 60 percentile, I feel that that is more than equitable. And then that will be placed into that budget line item. So you as department heads will then know where to place your employees in the budget. Okay. Steve, do you have any questions?
I don't have any question, but I'm also in favor of the 60th percentile, just for the fact that we just remain competitive.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. So if there's no further questions, what we need on board is we need to give the directive. So the Marion County Salary Survey financial option that the board is choosing the 60th percentile for the salary setting.
So move.
I'll support that.
Gomes. Aye. Mueller.
Aye.
Johnner.
Thank you, everyone. As this process continues to move on, I appreciate it. On to item number 3, the appointment of Marion County Conservation Board, Chad Bolge. Good morning, Kale.
Good morning.
Yes. Board, it's my understanding that Mr. Bolge's term is up 12/31/2025, and in our packet we do have a letter from the president of the Conservation Board regarding Mr. Bolge is going to serve again. Correct?
Yes.
And his term would be a 5-year term. So, Mr. Mueller, since you're on that board, do you have any thoughts?
I would support this. I'm totally in favor of reappointing Chad for another 5 years.
Okay, all right. Steve, any questions? No. Entertain a motion to appoint Chad Bolge.
So move.
Support.
Mueller.
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
Thank you, Dale. Item number 4 is Marion County Board of Health appointment. Board, Mr. McCoy or Dr. McCoy has been on the Board of Health, and Board of Health met this past week, and we agreed. I serve on that committee. We agreed to reappoint Mr. McCoy. He is serving a 3-year term, and it would end on December 31st, 2028. Mr. McCoy has been at the meetings. He has done a great job. It is one of the, I believe my understanding is the Board of Health that you have to have a doctor. Is that correct? Yes. So he's willing to fulfill that, and that's not always easy to get somebody to fulfill. So
Yes, that's true.
I am supportive of this. If you have any further questions, Lindsay is here for us and can answer any of those. Not entertain a motion for the approval of appointment by Dr. McCoy.
Move to approve, Dr. McQuaid as board health for another 3 years.
Second.
Johnner.
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks, Lindsay. And thank you to those, that are willing to serve. On to, we have another appointment, item number 5, Marion County Civil Service Commission, Board. If you recall, the last, meeting, I had stated that we had an opening. And, Mr. Mueller, I believe you submitted, reached out to somebody and you were giving, the recommendation of Jim is it Saunders? Yeah, Jim Saunders is willing to serve in that capacity. Sounds like he is definitely qualified, so, yeah, I have no problem with this. Steve, do you have any problem? Okay. Not entertain a motion to appoint Jim Saunders to the Marion County Civil Service Commission representing the Board of Supervisors.
So moved.
Okay.
McCombs.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye.
Johnner.
Hi. Moving right along. Item number 6, Board of Supervisors Service Agreement with Allers and Pooning regarding Junction 92 construction project. Item.
Well, I think the county attorney actually placed this on the agenda,
Okay, yep, nope, I agree, you're.
but I don't
probably
believe
correct, yeah.
him or representation is here for that. So this is for services to guide us on next steps. Really think that's
That's-
summary there.
Alright, yep, nope, I feel that, yes, I agree, at this time, we probably do need to get a service agreement, regarding, making sure that the project continues to move forward. So, board, do you have any questions or concerns? This is Allers and Pooning, we do have, other contracts, but this is specifically with a firm, that can help us regarding Junction 92.
No questions.
I have no questions other than, I think we'll be our own prime contractor and move forward.
So, do we have a motion to approve service agreement with Allers and Pooning?
Move to approve the services agreement with Allers and Pooning.
I'll second.
Wheeler.
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
Item number 7, resolution 2025-96. This is Marion County Junction 92 project change orders. Number 6, revised number 7, revised number 8, and amended number 9 and 10. That's a lot. Tyler.
Yeah, so I guess we'll start with number 8. You've seen number 8, and I think Brian presented that for some additional conduit. We requested for some IT data lines. The reason it is being amended is because 6 and 7 were not previously approved, and through some guidance of Allers, we have had revisions to 6 and 7. Therefore, the amounts changed, and therefore we're amending only the amounts of the contract sum in change order 8, not anything as far as the change order amount for change order 8, if that makes sense. So going back to change order 6, there were some revisions there. Some of that work was requested by us, by the owner, to install some additional valving in the plumbing system in order to isolate various parts of the building just for future convenience, or in the event of catastrophic failure, we could minimize damage and whatnot by shutting valves off. And then also there was some discrepancy between design plans and delegated design by the contractor, and through some back and forth there, and also some guidance from the outside attorneys. There's kind of this gray area, and ultimately Marion County is going to be responsible for relocating one of the in-floor heating manifolds because of some discrepancies there. Again, if you look at and research delegated design, they kind of steer you away from that. So obviously we would not do that again. So there is a cost there to relocate the manifold for the in-floor heat from one side of the building to the other, and essentially that's just the piping to get it to the further side of the building.
Is there concrete removal in that?
No.
Okay.
Could there have been less cost here had it been caught earlier? potentially, but half of the floor had already been poured. This separate zone maybe could have been run a different way, but half the floor had already been poured, so ultimately. We may have incurred more cost due to the timing of the error being caught. Change order 7 is a no cost in Marion County change order. There was some back and forth here. Ultimately, the electrical engineer was asking for a change for power washers, but our third party vendor, which we purchased power washers through, made a change, which then resulted in the electricians not having to accommodate that cost and they're doing that work. So for clarity purposes, there were changes made, but in the end, it made there was no additional cost for Marion County or the electricians. Change order 8, we've already discussed that 1412 did not change from last time. The amendment is only in the contract sums as a result of 6 and 7. Change order 9 is regarding circuitry voltage for the overhead doors in the whole building. Right now, we cannot open any doors, even though they've been installed for months. Due to this change order, I think since September, they've been working through how to rewire and power and whatnot. Ultimately, this was kind of everyone accepted responsibility here. So the architect, the general contractor, the electrical subcontractor, and the electrical engineer are all sharing in the cost of this. I don't know if in equal parts or not, but they're all for sharing in the cost, and the result is no cost in Marion County. We've held pretty steadfast on some of these things, trying to get the responsible party to be responsible. So that's a good example of that. And then change order 10 is actually a deduct of 14,500 roughly, some change. This is a result of the schedule of the project, resulting in additional fees being incurred by Marion County for our third-party vendors for things like the power washers, our bulk oil system, our air supply system throughout the building that we're all owner supplied equipment or third-party vendors. So in the end, this is a net zero for Marion County. We're taking this out of the contract because it was their delay that made us incur additional costs from those vendors. So net zero ultimately, but a deduct in this particular contract. And there may be more of that to come.
So overall, Tyler, it's a net decrease of 7,000, roughly $7,000.
Yeah, with all these change orders listed, yes.
Yeah.
In totality, I think we're at 241,000 in net decrease in the contract sum since bid date.
Correct. Or do you have any further questions, Tyler?
No, I appreciate you, Tyler, for putting up with this. I know it's been a hassle.
What we gotta do.
Hoping 2020.
Didn't choose to, but we gotta do it.
This is good here. That's wrapped up. With that, we're entertaining a motion for resolution 2025-96.
Second.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
Mueller,
Item number 8, board is resolution 2025-97. That is Marion County Junction 92 certificate of substantial completion. Number 1 for the fuel system and only the fuel system, correct?
Correct. So if you recall, the fuel system at Junction was funded separately from with utilizing ARPA funds. Also was the LEC fuel system. So that was kind of a standalone project. So we treated it like a third party or owner supplied equipment. The contractor had to provide power through the main shop construction through the general contractor and their subs. And power and data had to be provided out of the main shop for the fuel island. The fuel island's been there for a year and a half. It wasn't 100% complete until just recently. But at a recommendation from the vendor who did the installation and finally completed it this fall, said they did not recommend us going through winter now with the pumps not being primed with fuel, and recommended we start utilizing it. So this partial certificate of completion is specific only to the power supply as provided by the general contractor for the fuel island. That is it. And even with the partial certificate of completion for us to utilize power for that fuel island, it does not relieve them of any responsibilities or punch list items, even if they're specific to the power supply for the fuel island.
Okay.
So it just allows us use, but they are still responsible to complete everything else on the punch list and everything that they're responsible for enforcement.
So Tyler, regarding this approval, then you will then be having fuel delivered and you'll start be using that, or how's that work? I mean,
Yes,
okay, like right away.
right away, which results in a cost savings for us because we're able to take it via tanker truck instead of tank wagon, which is about a 7 to 9 cent per gallon cost savings by being able to take it via tanker.
And how big are those tanks? How much do we get?
16,000 in total to split tank, 4,000 gasoline, 12,000 diesel. One tank split.
Board, any questions for Tyler regarding resolution 2025?
Why do we have to get an okay to use power supply? Are they paying the power bills now while they're?
Because the building in totality has not reached substantial completion, and so therefore the project and the building is still the contractors. We have not taken, via substantial completion is when the owner can use it for the intended purpose.
Okay.
At which we have not reached. We are asking for that in part here.
Okay.
Any further questions? No, any motion?
Move to approve resolution 2025-97.
I'll support.
McCombs,
Aye.
Mueller,
Aye.
Johnner.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler. On to item number 9, Board of Supervisor updates. Mr. McCombs, do you have any things? I would like to just give a few updates to the board also, and to the department heads and electeds. The week of January 5th, budget sheets will go out so that you guys can start working on those. So watch for that information. Jake and I will be communicating, they'll most likely come from Jake. And then there will be budget instructions through that email, also timelines and things like that. Also remember, when we do the budget sheets, there's also the online Excel sheet. I'm asking again for you guys to do both. When you do your budget worksheets, please put it in the Excel worksheet. So then we as a board can also view that. And it's just helpful to have it in the Excel spreadsheet. And that's less work that the auditor's office has to do. So I appreciate that. Employee portal. I have viewed the employee portal. We are very close. In January, you as department heads and electeds will have communication from IT and regarding the employee portal. What we'll probably do is want to set up some time so that your employees can have a better understanding of what the employee portal does and is. And I'm excited because that is something that we had spoke about at the beginning of the year. One of those things that needed to be done, and that will have your documents, will have your handbook. The employees can log in and they can view it there. So that will be very helpful. And honestly, it's something that most companies have now, and it's time that we also have one. I want to thank everybody. This, if you'll notice, this is the last meeting of the year. I want to thank you. Appreciate you being gracious. There's been change. There's been lots of change when it comes to whether it's the handbook, whether it's the salary study. We spoke last year about being a team, and I appreciate everybody having that team mentality. And this we're here to serve the constituents of Marion County, and we have to do it effectively. And we as a board, I feel like we have made a priority of putting you employees at one of the top. That was one thing that I felt like we needed to focus, and so whether it was the handbook that only took us a few years to update, but we're on a projection, and I want to thank Lisa for helping with that. The salary study also, but not only that, and there's a person that helps us as a board that doesn't always like to be notarized, be noticed, but that is Jake. We're very thankful for Jake. He does these agendas, keeps us on target. There's a lot of things that come to us as an emails, and that man is the one that makes sure that they all get on here and that we don't miss them. So very grateful for Jake and Christine. And thank you to the employees in general. Thank you. No, it's a distinct. We're appreciative. I know that even the weather has been difficult early on, and it has forced, whether it's our road departments, facilities, our sheriff's department, to be out in weather, and so we're just grateful for all those that are working hard. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We appreciate it. We will see you back here on January 2nd. And I entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Or,
McCombs. Aye. Wheeler.
Aye.
Johnner.
and Merry Christmas, everybody. From all of us.